Well, the first thing you've got to do is you've got to communicate. I think I've lost my mind. Let me just say, you probably won't get to heaven.
What you doing?
Well, here's what I'm doing. I've never done it before, and I was a little nervous about doing my own. And I'm making pizza.
Pizza?
It's Sunday night. Yeah, I'm going to make some pizza. But I picked up a bag of Bob's Red Mill pizza crust. So it comes sort of all, I mean, it's flour. I don't know what, I've never thought about it. If you guys have a pizza dough recipe, send it to me. I'd like to try it. But this is a gluten-free pizza crust, so it even comes with a little yeast package in it. Okay. So here's what I'm doing. This is sort of a neat little thing I think you would like. Everybody asks me in the book about value. How do you figure out your value? Pizza is a very good example in my mind of how every family, every home is different. Now, there are certain fundamentals. The pizza flour, in this case, Bob tells me you need 2 eggs. I need 2 tablespoons, I need 1.5 cups of 110 degree water.
Really?
I measured that. I put 2 eggs beaten in there.
110 degree?
110 degrees.
Okay,
yeah,
so that's
it gets
room
the
temperature.
yeast going. Yeah. I put in this yeast packet. This is the fundamental. You're making the crust. Oh, and 2 tablespoons of oil. Now I got olive oil.
I think this will work.
I think so. We'll see. If not, we're gonna yell at Bob. That's it. And then you mix it. And they say it will be very, very sticky. But you wet your hands, get that all mixed in along with that yeast. I will admit, I have some friends that were talking to me the other day, and they like, was it cauliflower?
Cauliflower crust.
Yeah, I've never had one. Have I had one?
I don't think so.
I don't think so.
You would never even think to want one.
I don't think I would want one, no. But I hear they're good, so they seem to like it.
They taste the same, I think.
Yeah. But here's the deal with the values and the pizza. Sort of the same idea. Everybody likes different things on their pizza. Every home is different. Every home has a certain type of value system. And you've got to figure out what you need in your home. And I just need to make sure this is nice and incorporated. And what you like. Now, some people like pineapple. Now, that is not a value that is going to be in my home.
No.
You know what I'm saying? Because if you do that, let me just say, you probably won't get to heaven. I'm just kidding.
Can I say something before you go much further?
Yes, you may.
You first have to decide what you're making.
Yeah, well, that's true.
So you think about that.
Yeah.
Every marriage, every family has to decide what
are they making.
What's that going to look like?
And by the way, you get out the direction book too, which in our case is the Bible, the Word of God.
Right.
It's sort of your direction manual, your instruction manual. In this case for the pizza, it's the back of Bob's packaging here.
Yes.
And Bob tells me, Bob, you gotta write bigger, buddy. Okay, combine all the ingredients, mix until thoroughly combined. Dough will be very sticky. Wetting your hands lightly with water or oil will prevent sticking while working the dough. Leave the dough in the bowl, cover with plastic wrap, and let rise in a warm place for 20 minutes. Okay, so I'm going to cover this with plastic wrap, all mixed up.
It's going to rise, huh?
And it's going to rise. When that gets rising, we're going to put it in here. And I had some semolina flour that I bought the other day. I'm going to use that as the bottom before we bake this thing. Some of you would recognize that because you get that little flaky, like cornmeal crusty thing on the bottom of pizza. Sometimes it makes it really good, and that's what I did. I've got to decide what I need, what I want. Now, here's what I know I like. I like pizza sauce.
Yes.
I also know I love pepperoni. You've also got to have cheese. There's a couple of things with this now as we get down into the nitty gritty. I can do with or without, but because it's Susan and I together, I like to know what things she likes to see in this thing, and whether it be our marriage or our children or our pizza. What she likes are black olives. First thing she said, do you have any black olives in the pantry? because I want some black olives on my pizza. Okay, well, not my biggest deal, but I think it's going to work for us because the David family, this Jerry and Susan David family, are going to have black olives. What Susan doesn't like, and this is where you're talking with each other as it relates to what you like and don't like and what values you want to incorporate in your children or not, or what, all that. It's important so that you know what works for each of you, and then you'll have a lot less problem. What Susan doesn't like, she doesn't like onion. And I like onion. I'm going to chop a little bit of this and put it on half of the pizza. Pepperoni, cheese, mushroom, sauce, olives, and a little onion. This is going to be great.
Let me get a picture of all that.
All of that. There you go. Got a few more minutes to go on that, and then I'll show you a little bit how we roll it out, put it all together, and we're going to make ourselves a pizza tonight. So now we've let it rise for 15 minutes, 20 minutes, excuse me.
It's tacky, and they said it would be sticky and tacky.
And so what you do actually, you put it in the pan, the middle of your pan. And I've referred to Bob's directions here 2 or 3 times. And what Bob tells me, Bob says to put, the best way to do this, I mean, it's great instructions. He says it's going to be hard for you to roll that out and not have everything stick. So Bob's suggestion, not even a suggestion, it's the direction, is put a piece of plastic over the dough and roll it out or press it out with your fingers with that plastic over it. Oh man, that thing wants to move around, babe. This is why you need the help of both parents.
That's right, it takes 2 of us.
That's right. One can't do it.
That's right. Well, they can, but it makes it harder.
It makes it harder.
Sometimes there's no choice, but when you have a choice.
Yep, here we go.
There you go.
Are you getting this on the video?
Well, I've got it down here.
Do you?
So it's pointed down.
Oh, I didn't.
See
okay,
there?
gotcha. Okay. So here, oh man.
So
I'm
to
trying
talk
hurry.
to it, you have to go like
Yeah,
this.
no, I don't want to do that. But anyhow, I think I've lost my mind. Okay, so then I'm rolling this out. I'm having some extension going on. Ooh. Okay, so I mess up a little bit. I go back to the directions.
They actually tell you to cook it a little first.
Yeah, you're going to
before
cook
you
it
put
in a
stuff
425 oven for 7 minutes, Sue. Hey, Mr. Bob's got us. He wants us to be successful. Just like God wants you to be successful in your marriage or in your children raising. So he gives you good instructions. This really is a very good application, isn't it, though? You know, and that's the truth. Even if you're older, and maybe a lot of our audience is, can I tell you something? After you've had children in the home and you've raised them, sometimes you've got to revisit the conversation and determine now how it's going to look. I remember when our children became gone out of the house, we had to have a conversation or 2 or 3 about, okay, now what does this look like where we're not raising children anymore? And now what do we do? And how do we live? And I mean, how's this going to all work out?
I mean, we're together 24/7.
Oh my goodness. It's almost too much.
Figure that out. There you go. Looks great.
It's very good, right?
Yep.
Okay, I'm going to, it's driving me nuts, Sue. I can't stand it. I got to get some more back in there. There we go. Now.
We'll see if you guys send us better recipes
Yeah.
than Bob's.
Bob seems a little wet here, but he must know. I mean, he sells a bunch of this stuff. I'm having a trouble with that corner. That corner's going to get most of the olives.
That's going to be the olive side.
Yeah, the olive side.
There
Okay,
you go.
now my oven's all ready. This thing's going in. Alexa, set a timer for 7.5 minutes. There it is.
There you go.
There it is.
It didn't stick to the plastic. That's amazing.
Well,
Good plan.
yeah, there's my pizza. So for 7 minutes,
Yes.
we're gonna cook it at 425. Then we're gonna come back. We're gonna load it up with our stuff.
Okay.
Put it back in. Cook it the rest of the way.
Yeah.
There's a hack for you guys. Put your cheese in a freezer and it'll shred better for a little bit. My dad gave me only one value when it came to marriage.
What's
You know
that?
what he said?
No.
On the day I was getting married, actually, he says, I got just one other piece of advice for you, and I did it. He said, always, once a year, he said, make sure you and your wife, no matter how many children you have, no matter what, you get away for 1 week together. And you put the babysitter, get the grandmas or grandpas, whoever, but you get away with your spouse 1 week, because eventually those children will move, and he was right. They'll move out of your house, all that work after 18, 20, 22 years, whatever, and then you'll be left with each other and you won't know each other. So get out and enjoy each other and your company on a week's vacation. And as you can, even find time every week to sort of date if you can. No, we didn't do that as much, but boy, we did the other.
He said, just take your wife to lunch.
Yeah, just meet for lunch somewhere, or take, whatever. And there's ways to do it. And what we do is we get caught up in the doing of all these other things, and we forget some of the important things. All right, this thing's going back in. It's ready to go. It's going back in. Bob is on the line. Bob's reputation's on the line here. 425 for about 15 to 18 minutes. We'll show you what it looks like. Okay, Alexis is going off, and she's going quick. Alexa, stop. Means the pizza's done. Let's take a look and see how Bob did. Oh yeah, Bob, you did great for us here, buddy.
Wonderful.
Oh, looks so nice. I better get something better than that to get this thing.
Oh, that's not going to work either.
Yeah, this'll work. And I'll put it on one of these over here.
Okay.
And we've got to let it cool off. But that look at it, it's all nice and red around the
Wow.
crust.
Looks great, Jared.
I think that's going to work just fine. Thank you very much.
Yep.
I will tell you guys this. I've gotten a lot of questions, and even when I've spoken the last few times on our book, I do some lecturing and love doing that. It's funny, the same questions keep coming up. How do you determine values? Well, the first thing you've got to do is you've got to communicate first with yourself. What do you believe in? What do you want to see? Get a vision for what, if you're parenting, for what your kids, how do you want them to turn out? How you want them to respect other people?
Long-term
vision, yeah. And then begin to mark down certain values that you have to instill. I mean, we don't allow lying in the house, or we don't allow stealing. We honor each other. You teach honor to each other in the house, guess what? You'll eliminate racism within 2 generations, because you honor people. People are people. And you just won't have it. And so that's the idea. That's parenting. The same thing applies to marriage. And just find out what works for you guys. And even when you get interrupted with raising children, it seems you get interrupted in a marriage a lifespan of those 18, 20, 22 years, that's okay. You got to come back and you're together. I mean, we've been together. My kids moved out when I was, we were empty nesters when I was 49, just turning 50. Well, I'm 69. That's almost 20 years. And we've had to communicate, and what do we want for the rest of our lives, and what are our like interests, and this, that, and the other, and it just works. So, just like a pizza, find out what ingredients you like, what you want to build, get a vision for it, how it needs to look.
First, determine you're building a pizza.
Yeah,
that's a big deal.
Determine what you're building. That's right.
Yes.
And then go for it, and don't let anything get in your way. I'll guarantee you'll be a much happier person than trying to stab or throw darts up on the wall and see what sticks. You don't want to do that. And anyhow, that's my little message for you for today. I'm going to enjoy my pizza on this beautiful Sunday. I didn't even put my robe on, Sue, I noticed.
Your robe?
Yeah.
Oh, you mean your apron.
My apron. And I'm going to...
This is the Papa's Kitchen, by the way.
This is the Papa's Kitchen. Thank you for watching. And
I'm going to taste it, and you're going to film me.
Oh, that's a good idea.
All right,
okay,
but we're going to let it cool off a
Yeah,
minute.
we will.
I took one bite.
Okay.
But I'm going to do another one.
I'm running the camera. Do one more bite, and let's see what you get.
Okay. This is the onion side.
Okay, well,
I'll
you'll live.
ignore them.
Yeah. Good?
Mm-hmm.
Oh,
Hot,
good.
but good.
Hot, yeah. Okay, good. Hey, folks, we'll see you next time. But anyhow, enjoy whatever day it is and whatever week you're in. Bless you.
All right, bye.
Bye. Hey, hi, everybody. Now, this last little part on this video I know does not go with pizza, but I did want to take a moment and just show you, because I promised to show you a few pictures of my trip in Southeast Asia. And I was in Singapore and I was in Sri Lanka, almost a month total with those two trips, about 2 weeks at each place. And I just had a wonderful time. One of my best friends and colleagues is a pastor in Sri Lanka, in Colombo, which is the capital. And when I got there, he put me up in this beautiful hotel. It's called the Cinnamon. Here's a picture of it. You can see right out my window here is a picture of the Indian Ocean. So, I mean, it's gorgeous. That city has grown up so big, and yet it's a nation really in turmoil and in crisis, both politically and even more so economically. It's going through tremendous upheaval because of some corruption and all sorts of things going on. But one of the nights that we were there, we went out to eat, and the restaurant that I've eaten at before with him, and he took us back, his wife and I, and then one other speaker that was there and myself. It's called the Lagoon. It's right there at the hotel. It's one of the 50 most popular places in the world to eat. It's considered one of these great restaurants. And here's a picture. You can see this is what you sort of look at when you come in. It's got all the fish that you can order. You go up, you pick your fish, you pick how you want it to be prepared, and these cooks are back there doing all that work, and they take what you pick, and you see this picture, they weigh it out on a tray, and then that's how they determine the price. And it was so good. And I just want to show you a few of the dishes that we had. This is a greens kind of thing, and that's in it's like kai lai, which is Asian. It's a greens. It's like Chinese broccoli, really, is what it is. And you'll have garlic, that's roasted garlic there, in a beautiful soy sauce. It's just one of my favorite things. And then this, I forget what fish this was here in the main, but it was lightly breaded. It was a white fish of some sort, and that was good and all. I don't even remember what this fish was. It was all fish night, and so you got to be a fish lover or seafood lover if you're going to enjoy this restaurant. This, however, was my favorite, and I didn't catch a real good picture of it, but this is moda fish, which is a white fish. There is a similar fish that we have here in the Americas, and I don't remember what it was, but the way they prepared this in a curry sauce, oh my goodness, this was my favorite meal of the night. And there in the background as well, we had some real spicy, Thai spicy shrimp that was done and brought to the table, and that was delicious. Oh my goodness. One of my favorite things of all time, and I've got a bag of them frozen here. These were fresh, are sea scallops. And I want to cook scallops for you one day because I love them. They're one of my favorite seafoods, and they did a great job. And you take these things and you dip it in the drawn butter that comes on the plate, and oh, I love those. There is a picture of that wonderful curry moda fish. It was just like off the charts. Then after that, we went to the resort where they had a big conference going, and we spoke. And this is a picture right outside my little cabin, right on the Indian Ocean that they put me up in. So I wanted you to see that even when I go overseas, it's not always that hard, and it was pleasant. And here is the sunset that's being captured as the sun goes down. It's actually going up across the Indian Ocean there into Africa, but it's going down in Sri Lanka. And so that just gives you a little bit of insight into my wonderful trip. I like to go. If I could go in 3, 4, 6 times a year, I'd do it, just because the eating is so good, the people are wonderful, having those kinds of friends, and the scenery is gorgeous. So that's a little bit of my trip, and I hope you enjoy it.